Now, let's deal with the margin around our type elements, our text elements here. So let's just begin with H1, and what we'll do, we'll just use pixels. So in case you're wondering, 0 can be a percentage or it could be a absolute. Okay, so it could be a relative or an absolute. So it could be a percentage, or we could call out our units in pixels, millimeters, inches, whatnot. And then there are different relative units like percent, m, and rem, which we'll talk more about later. But let's just use an absolute, and let's say we want to move our type, our H1, 20 pixels away from the bottom of Mau's image there. And then we're not going to worry about the right. And then the bottom. What we'll do is, instead of adding margin, well, actually we have this H1 element here. And I like that amount of space, so I'm going to leave 0 on the bottom, but I'm going to go ahead and take this type and move it over. We're going to move all this type over. We'll leave the image where it is, and we'll just move the type over. So this is the right, this is the bottom, and let's go ahead and go 30 pixels, okay? And then on our H3 here, let's move our H3 away from this horizontal rule. So H3, let's go ahead and go 20 pixels. Again, on the right and on the bottom, we'll leave 0 because I'm going to put some margin on the top of the P tag, and that will push away from this H3. So again, on the left, let's go with 30 pixels, like so. And for the moment, let's do 15 pixels on our margin, on our top, and then we'll go, let's see, well, how are we going to do this? You know, I think we'll go 0 here, and we will, in fact, on the H3, on the bottom of H3, let's add our 15 pixels here, okay? That way I don't want any kind of funky space going on in here. We're going to add what is called line height for which would be our leading, our line to line space. So let's just go with 15 on the bottom, and again 30 on the left. And now what we'll do is, I want the bottom of my P tag to really push away on the top here. So that's not going to work. We have our 20, this 20 pixels is what's going to create this space here and also here, okay? So on our margin, our padding, let's just go 30 on the left. Let's see what happens here. So we're going to go ahead and save, and let's refresh. Okay. So now let's say we have our 30 pixels here, and then I don't recall on the H3, what did we add to the top of H3? We added 20 pixels. So there's our 20 on our H3, there's our 20 here, and then we had 15 pixels on our bottom here. Let's go ahead and on the P tag, after the font weight, actually after font size, let's go ahead and return tab over, and we'll do line hyphen height. And line height in this environment is, let's say, analogous. It's pretty similar. It's calculated a little differently, but it's very similar to using leading in typography. So if we have, let's go with 15 pixels on our line height, and we'll save, and then we'll just update, and you'll see that we just added a little space from line to line. Okay. All right. Now, I don't remember exactly what is happening. I think this is two different paragraphs. Let's go ahead and take a look. I don't recall. Okay, so we have one p tag down here where our page, oh no, here it is. Here's a p tag, here's a p tag. So we have our margin zeroed out. So let's go ahead and let's just say at the bottom here, the bottom, let's go ahead and add 15 pixels and we'll save. And let's see how that changes this part here. So we're trying to add some space between these two paragraphs. And there we go. Okay, so we just added in some margin to the bottom of our p tag. Okay, now if in case you're wondering why nothing happened here or here or here when we added, or I should say it would have been on the bottom, it would be here and here when we added some margin to the bottom, and it's something called margin collapse, which we'll talk about more later on. But basically the top and bottom margins, they would not add up. The larger number wins. Okay, so that's why the margin didn't change here, or I should say here. Okay, and I believe here. All right. Okay, so we've gone ahead and added styles, or used CSS styles to add presentation to the meaning part of our structure on our page.